Hey everyone, welcome back to SHIVASTRA, and this is part 2 of our BEGE 143 exam preparation series. If you have already watched the part 1, great job. If not, make sure you check it out after this video. In this video, I will be covering the next important poems, so let's jump into it and get your exam ready in no time. I have already uploaded a poem, A Boundless Moment, Rain of Stress, A Widow Lament in Springtime, Ajman and Tiger, Crossing the Bar, Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa, Kubla Khan, Ode to Bombay. Now we will read the poem On the Death of a Poem. On the Death of a Poem is written by A.K. Ramanujan and was published in his book Collected Poem 1995. This is a modern Indian English poem. On the Death of a Poem is a very short and deep poem, just one stanza with 6 lines. It is written in free verse with no rhyming scheme. Despite being so short, it carries a powerful message about the creative process behind writing poetry. In this poem, the poet talks about what happens when the writer tries to create a poem. Sometimes a poet has many ideas in mind, but they are not clear. These ideas try to come together and form a poem. But not every idea becomes a poem. Sometimes the poem disappears or dies before it is written. This poem shows how hard and emotional the writing process can be. It tells us that writing is not always easy. It takes time, patience, and sometimes the idea is lost before it can become a poem. Line by line explanation. Images consult one another. The images, it means picture or ideas, in the poet's mind talk to each other or share thoughts. They don't just appear randomly, they discuss among themselves before forming part of the poem. The word consult means they are thinking carefully and planning together. A conscience, strike and jury. It means these images are like a jury in the courtroom. They feel guilty or responsible. That's what conscience, strike and mean. They are not confident, maybe because they are unsure if they belong in the poem or if they will make sense together. So the images are judging themselves, deciding if they are good enough to be a part of a poem. And come slowly to a sentence. It means after all their thinking, the images finally decided on something. They come together slowly and carefully to form a sentence which is a part of the poem. The word sentence has a double meaning here. It means a line or a phrase in the poem, but it also means a judgment, like in court, the judge gave a sentence. So the images form a sentence of poetry, but it also feels like a final decision or judgment. They show how hard and emotional the process of writing a poem can be. Overall summary of this poem is about how a poet feels when trying to write a poem. It shows the journey of a poem from the first thought in the poet's mind to either becoming a full poem or disappearing before it can be written. The poet began with many images and ideas in his mind. These thoughts are not clear or confident. They feel unsure, like a group of people, a jury, who are quietly discussing and feeling guilty. These ideas slowly try to come together to form a sentence, which could become a poem. But sometimes this process doesn't work. The poem doesn't get completed. It dies before the poet can write it down. That's what the title means, On the Death of a Poem. It tells us that not every beautiful thought becomes a poem. Sometimes the poet loses the idea before it takes shape. This poem explains the emotional struggle and silence the writer feels when their thoughts don't turn into words. It reminds us that writing is not easy. It's a slow, delicate, and sometimes painful process. Main themes are creative process, confused thoughts, failure in writing, unpredictable inspiration, silence, and emptiness. Our next poem will be the postcard from Kashmir I have already uploaded. Now, the Ancient Rocks of Chera. The Ancient Rocks of Chera is written by Kynpham Singh Nongkynrih, a poet from Meghalaya. The poem is a part of his book The Yearning of Seeds in a section called The Fungus. The poem talks about a place called Chera, also known as Cherrapunji or Sora, which is in Meghalaya. It is used to be the capital before Shillong. The poem tells us that the land is very old, dry, and poor. Life is not easy there, but even though it looks empty and sad, the poet is still loved and it feels like it home there. He feels a strong connection to the rock and the land of Chera. Here is the stanza 1, the ancient rock of Chera for Nigel who questioned. This land is too old, and withered for life to be easy. The poet says that Chera is a very old and tired land. It has become dry and lifeless, and because of this, living there is not easy. The land has suffered a lot with time, and now life feels hard and harsh in this place. Stanza 2, Poverty eats into the hill and squeezes a living from stones and caterpillar gathered for out-of-town drunks each market day. The poet says that the people in China are very poor. They try to survive by collecting and selling stone and caterpillar, even if it is difficult. These are mostly sold to drunk people who come out from outside the town, especially on the market day. Life is really tough there. Stanza 3, where the serpent's death throes cut deep wound into the land, lie deep gorges like fiend-ish found, yawning or desperate victim. The poet imagined that long ago a giant snake died in pain and its last moments, like death throes, made deep cut or wound in the land. These cuts have now become big gorges, deep valley or crack. The poets say that these gorges look like dangerous mouths that are open and waiting to swallow helpless people. It shows how wild, scary and dangerous the land can feel. Stanza 4, there is nothing remarkable here, only this incredible bareness. Men and trees have left their habitats to a crude and a lowly breed like bush, but the sight of a dark grey rocks like sages spells home to me. In this stanza, the poet says that there is nothing special in Terra. The land look empty and dry. Most people and big tree have left this place. Only small rough plant grow here now, but still, when the poet sees the dark grey rocks, which he compares to the wide sages, he feels that is his home. Even though the land is sad and empty, he loves it deeply. Here's the overall summary. You can read it by your own, and there's a myth used in the poem. You can check it out. Now, the next poem will be The Canonization. The Canonization is a poem written by John Donne, a famous English poet from the 1600s. This poem was written in the early 17th century and was published in 1633 after Donne had died. Donne talks about romantic love in a very unique way. The speaker is deeply in love and responds to people who criticize or question his love. He says that instead of judging him, they should leave him alone to love in peace. He compares his love to holy things and says that and his lover become saints of love. They will be canonized, officially recognized as saints, not by religion but by the power of their love. This poem shows us how love can be spiritual, eternal, and even as sacred, just like religion. So here is the stanza by stanza explanation. Stanza 1. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love, or chide my palsy and my gout, my 5 grey hairs or ruined fortune flout. With wealth your state and your mind with arts improve, take you a course, get you a place. Observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real or his stamped face. Contemplate what you will approve, so will you let me love. You will let me love. Summary is the speaker begins the poem by telling someone, maybe a friend or a critic, please be quiet and just let me love in peace. He is tired of being judged or told what to do, especially about his relationship. He says that if you really want to complain, then talk about my health problem like my shaking hands, which is called palsy, and my joint pain, which is also called gout. He also says make fun of my old age. He mentioned that he has only 5 grey hair on my ruined finances. Go ahead and laugh at that. Then he changes the focus and say, why don't you focus on your own life instead? You can work on becoming rich, get a job, learn new thing, improve your mind with arts, or try to become powerful and important. Think about kings, money, the stamped face on a coin, honor, and the title like his grace. The speaker ends the stanza by repeating his main point, do whatever you want, just let me love. He doesn't want to be judged or interrupted. He wants people to leave him and his love life alone. Stanza 2. Alas, alas, who is injured by my love? What merchant ship have my sighs drowned? Who say my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my oils a forward spring remove? When did the heats which my veins fill add one man to a plague bill? Soldiers find wars and lawyers find out still. Don and Andrew marvel litigious man which quarrels move, though she and I do love. In the second stanza, the speaker continues defending his love. He wants people to understand that his love is not causing any harm to the world. He says that while he is in love, everything else around him is still going on as usual. People are still working, fighting wars, running businesses, and making money. Nothing in the world has stopped or changed just because he has fallen in love. His love does not disturb politics, the economy, or society. It is private and personal. He is not asking for anyone's attention or creating any trouble, so he does not understand why people are bothered by his relationship. He feels that people should mind their own business and focus on their own life instead of judging or interfering in his love life. He says people can keep doing whatever they are doing, chasing success, power, or money, but they should leave him alone to live the way he wants. His message is clear. His love may be strong and deep, but it is peaceful and does not affect anyone negatively, so there is no reason for anyone to complain about it or try to stop it. Stanza 3. Call us what you will, we are made such by love. Call her one, me another fly. We are tapers too, and at our own cost die. And we in us find the eagle and the dove, the phoenix riddle hath more weight. By us, we two being one are it, so to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same and prove mysterious by this love. Summary. In the third stanza, the speaker says that even if he and his lover cannot be together in the usual way, their love is still powerful and meaningful. He explained that their love may not be famous like a war hero or a rich person, but it still has its own special importance. Their love might seem small to others, but for them it is everything. Even if they are not doing great or important thing in the world, their deep and true love make them feel complete. They don't need to be known by the world or make a big name for themselves because their love gives their life meaning. It is almost like they live in their own and where only their love matter. The speaker is saying that love is not always a big action or being noticed by others. It can be quiet, personal, and still just as strong as beautiful. Their love is like a perfect little world of its own where nothing else is needed. Through these words, the speaker is showing how love can give a person a sense of peace and fulfillment, even if the world doesn't notice it. Stanza 4. We can die it by, if not live by love, and if unfit for tomes and hears. Our legends be, it will be fit for verse, and if no piece of chronicle we prove, we will bid in sonnet's pretty room. As well a well-wrought turn becomes, the great as ashes as a half-acre tomes, and by these hymns all shall approve as canonized for love. In the fourth stanza, the speaker imagined that even if society doesn't approve of their love now, it might be celebrated in the future through poetry and art. He says that poets may write about their relationship in sonnet and song, turning their love into something eternal. These artistic works will preserve the memory of their love, making it famous for a future generation. The speaker believed that their love is so strong and meaningful that it deserved to be honored and remembered, not just as a normal romance, but as something spiritual and admirable. He compares their love to the lives of a saint, which are remembered and respected in religious tradition, just like people read about the saint to feel inspired, and he believed others might read about their love and feel moved by its depth and purity. Their love become like a symbol and example of the perfect emotional and the spiritual connection. This stanza show how the speaker viewed their love not just as a personal feeling but as a something sacred, artistic, and worthy of the respect. Through the poem and story, their love could become legendary, something people look up to, an ideal form of human connection. Stanza number 5. And thus invoke us, you whom revered love made one another hermitage. You, to whom love was peace that now is rage, who did the whole world soul contract and drove into the glasses of your eyes, so made such mirror and such spice, that they did all to you epitomize, countries, towns, court, back from above, a pattern of your love. Summary. In the fifth and final stanza, the speaker says that after the death, he and his lover will still be remembered not through riches or power, but through the powerful example of their love. He will imagine that they will become saints of love, canonized or officially recognized and honored, just like religious saints are remembered for their holy lives. He believed that their love will live on as a story or legend passed on through poem and artwork. The speaker also says that even if their love didn't affect the world politically or economically, it still has deep emotional and spiritual power. Their love may not have done great things in the usual worldly sense, but it has created something beautiful and meaningful, a kind of emotional truth that others can learn from. Here is the overall summary. You can read it by your own, okay? Now the next poem will be The Colors of Truth. It is a very short poem basically, okay? So The Colors of Truth is written by a poet named Kynpham Singh Nongkynrih. How to pronounce it? Kynpham Singh Nongkynrih. Okay, he is from Meghalaya and belongs to the Khasi community. The poem was first published in the year 2004 in a magazine called Indian Literature. Later it was added to the book The Yearning of Seeds 2011 under a section called The Season of the Wind. This poem shows how violence, fear, and death have become a part of people's daily life. The poet talks about truth, but not as something good. Instead, he says truth has now become dark, bloody, and scary. He used color like red for blood and black death for death to show the sad reality of the world. Themes of the poem are violence and fear, truth is painful, colors show reality, daily life in danger, loss of peace. Line by line explanation. A sister phone call, user's friendly warning, insurgents have grown incredibly urbane these days. The poet says that one afternoon while he was resting, he got a phone call. The person on the phone call gave him a warning, but in a very polite and friendly way. The warning was about danger, but it didn't sound scary, it was calm. The poet also said that the people who create trouble and fight, called insurgent, are now behaving in a smart and modern way that look nice and act gentle, but they are still dangerous inside. The question is, must we subterfuge to shield a pedagogic stooge? I close my eyes, turned towards the sun. The poet asked a question: should we use trick or lies, subterfuge, to protect someone who is just a simple teacher or learner, pedagogic stooge? He is wondering if it is a right to hide the truth for someone who it is not very important in power. Then the poet closes his eyes and turns his face towards the sun. This action shows that he is thinking deeply and maybe trying to find peace or truth in the middle of all his confusion and danger. The color I see is disgorging blood. I close my eyes, shade them with my palm. The poet said that when he closed his eyes and looked forward the sun, the color he sees is like blood pouring out. Disgorging blood, this shows violence and killing. Then he closes his eyes again and covers them with his hands. Maybe because the sight or thought is too painful or scary, it shows how even when he tries to block things out, he still feels the fear and pain around him. The color I see is life-erasing black. These are the color of destiny, of immutable truth. Even after trying to block the image, he now sees black, which he calls life-erasing, meaning the color of death, darkness and nothingness, which means the black color reminds him of death, sadness and darkness. Instead of peace, his mind sees destruction. The poets say that these two colors, red and black, are the real color of today's truth. This is our destiny and unchangeable reality. Truth is no longer white or pure, it is full of pain. And the color also with which wearing pawns are daily decorating our towns. He continues saying this color are used by wearing pawns. It means small fighter or soldier who are a part of a bigger fight. They might not have powerful themselves, but they are used by others for violence. Every day, these small fighters bring blood and death to town. The word decorating is used in a sad or sarcastic way. Instead of making town beautiful, these color of war make town scary and deadly. Here's the overall summary of the poem and the significance of the title, The Color of Truth. It appears in a previous year question. I can read it for you. The title, The Color of Truth, is a very powerful and meaningful. Normally, when we think of a truth, we imagine it as something good, pure and bright, maybe white or clear. But in this poem, the poet wants to show that the truth of the today world is very different. He says the real truth now has dark and painful color like red and black. These are the colors that people now see all around them because of the war, violence and killing. By calling of the poem The Color of Truth, the poet tells us that the truth is no longer beautiful or peaceful. Instead, it is full of pain, fear, and destruction. People live with the danger every day. And even the one who do wrong now look smart and polite. This shows that truth is being hidden or changed in a clever way, but behind it all, they are still suffering. So the title helps us understand the main idea of the poem. It tells the truth of the today life is colored with sadness and violence, not with honesty and peace. That's why the poet uses the word colors to show how the truth now looks in real life. So here we done. So let's start our next poem, The Last Ride Together. The Last Ride Together was written by Robert Browning, a famous English poet. It was first published in 1855 in his poetry collection called Man and Woman. This poem is about a man who has loved someone deeply, but she doesn't love him back. Instead of being sad or angry, he asks her for one last ride together before they part ways. The poem shows how he feels during the ride and what he thinks about love, success, failure, life, and heaven. It is a dramatic monologue, meaning the poet speaks in the voice of a man and shares his thought and feeling. The poem teaches us to value beautiful moments in life, even if they don't last forever. Here's the stanza-wise analysis. You can check it though. I will tell you the overall summary only. The Last Ride Together is a beautiful and emotional poem written by Robert Browning. It is written as a dramatic monologue where only one person speaks and expresses his thought and feeling. In this poem, the speaker is a man who has loved someone deeply but sadly. His love is not written by the woman he loved. At the beginning of the poem, the man tells us that he knows his love story is ending. The woman has rejected his proposal. He understands that nothing can change her decision now. Still, instead of fighting or getting angry, he chooses to accept the situation calmly. He feels that since his love love doesn't succeed, he will not beg for her love again, but before they part ways forever, he makes a humble request. He asks her to go on one last ride with him. This ride will be a final beautiful memory for him, something he can hold on to after she is gone. To his surprise and joy, the woman agreed to his request. She doesn't speak much, but gives a sign that she is ready to ride with him. This small gesture fills the man with great happiness. He feels like a god in that moment because he gets to ride next to the person he loves. Even if only for a short time, the man starts thinking that maybe the world will end at every night and this beautiful ride could become the last moment of life, which would be a perfect ending for him. As they ride, the speaker becomes lost in thought. He compares their closeness to the beauty of nature like a sunset, moonlight, and shining star. He feels that all these beautiful things from the sky have come down upon them, and he experiences both joy and fear. Joy because she is with him, and fear because he knows it won't last forever. As they continue riding, the man feels peaceful, his mind opens up, and all his past pain, regret begins to fade away. He thinks about how many times he tried to win her love, and how he failed. He also wonders what if he had done things differently. What if we change anything? Maybe not. Maybe she would still not love him. These thoughts help him understand that life doesn't always go as we plan, and sometimes we must learn to accept things as they are. Then he starts thinking in a bigger way, not just about himself but about all the people. He asks, am I the only one who fails in life? The answer is no. Many people try hard but don't succeed. Soldiers die in a war. Poets struggle with their word. Artists spend years working on something beautiful but still get forgotten. Life is full of effort and failure. Yet people still keep trying. He thinks that his ride with his beloved is better than all those efforts because he is at least getting to enjoy something real and beautiful. The man also questions the idea of a fame and success. What does it mean to win in life? Does making a name for yourself really matter if you are not truly happy? He thinks about great poets, painters, and musicians who gave their whole lives to the art, yet often died poor or unappreciated. Compared to that, his one joyful ride with his love feels more valuable. At least he has a precious moment to remember, while others may have only their names written in the book or on a stone. Toward the end of the poem, the man begins to think about heaven. He wonders what if this moment, this ride with the woman he loves, is heaven itself. He says that if heaven being with the one by love and feeling deep happiness, then maybe heaven is not far away. Maybe it is right here, right now, in his sight. Finally, he imagines a beautiful and hopeful idea. What if this ride never ends? What if they keep riding together forever, with time standing still? What if this joyful moment become eternal? He dreams that maybe he and she could ride together forever, right? And that would be his version of heaven, not in the sky but here on the earth with her by his side. Conclusion. In The Last Ride Together, Robert Browning shows us a mature and peaceful way of accepting heartbreak. Instead of blaming or complaining, the speaker finds beauty in what little he has. He teaches us that failure in love or life is not the end, and that even a single happy moment can be more meaningful than years of success. Through deep thought and rich emotion, Browning reminds us to value love, life, and the present moment. The poem is not just about the love, it's about hope, acceptance, imagination, and inner peace. The speaker turns a sad goodbye into a beautiful memory, and in doing so, he wins in his own way. This makes The Last Ride Together a truly inspiring and timeless poem. Robert Browning is a poet of a dramatic monologue. It is a short note which appears in the previous year question. So Robert Browning is known as a master of dramatic monologue, and The Last Ride Together is a great example of this style. In a dramatic monologue, only one character speaks. He expresses his thought, emotion, and belief while the listener stays silent. Through his style, Browning lets us go deep into the speaker's mind. In this poem, the speaker talks directly to the woman he loved. She has rejected his love, but instead of getting angry, he asks her for one last ride together. As they ride, he shares all his thoughts about life, love, failure, success, art, heaven, and happiness. We understand that the speaker's character is emotional, thoughtful, and accepting of life up and down. Browning dramatic monologues are not just about telling a story, they show how a person thinks, how he deals with the pain, and how he searches for meaning. The poem doesn't focus on action, it focuses on feeling and ideas. The silent presence of the woman also adds mystery and makes the speaker word more powerful. So Browning's use of dramatic monologue helps us connect deeply with the speaker and explore big life questions in a simple and human way. Our next poem will be The Negro Speak of Rivers. The Negro Speaks of River, written by Langston Hughes, a well-known African-American poet. He wrote this poem in 1920 when he was just 17 years old, and it was first published in the Crisis magazine, which was connected to the civil rights movement. This poem talks about the deep history, strength, and pride of black people. He just used the images of river to show how old and wise the soul of a black person is. He connects himself with ancient river and important places from history to show that black people have always been a strong and important part of the world. Here's the stanza by stanza explanation. And let me tell you the overall summary, okay? So Langston Hughes' poem, The Negro Speaks of River, is a strong and emotional poem that talks about the black people, history, identity, pride, and the pain of slavery. In the poem, the speaker uses river as a symbol to show that just like rivers are old, deep, and always moving, the life and experiences of black people are also full of history, deep emotion, and strength. When the speaker says, "I have known rivers," he means that he and all black people have seen and felt a lot through time. He doesn't just mean real rivers, but also the feeling, wisdom, and story that have been passed down from generation to generation. He talks about 4 rivers in the poem: the Euphrates, Congo, Nile, and Mississippi. Each river has a special meaning. Euphrates River in the Middle East, it is one of the world's oldest rivers. When he say, "I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young," it means black people were there from the very beginning of human life. Congo River in Africa. He says he built a hut near the Congo and it lulled him to sleep. This gave a feeling of peace, love, and being at home in Africa, a time before slavery. Nile River in Egypt. This river is famous for the pyramids. The line, "I raised the pyramids above it," shows that the black people helped build great things and were a part of strong civilization in the past. It gives pride in their history. Mississippi River in America. He says he heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abraham Lincoln went to New Orleans. This means he saw the sad time of slavery, but also the hope that came later when Lincoln helped end slavery. The river turning golden in the sunset shows that even after pain, there was a hope and light. Throughout the poem, he just keep using the word "I," not just for himself, but for all the black people. He also repeats the word "known" to show how important it is to know your roots and your history. When he says, "My soul has grown deep like the river," he means his heart and soul are full of deep knowledge, feeling, and strength because of everything his people have gone through. At the end, he calls the river ancient and dusky, which show his love and respect for the past. The word dusky means dark in a soft, beautiful way and also stand for a dark skin, used here as a sign of a pride and beauty. Overall, this poem reminds us that black history is not just full of sadness and slavery, but also full of greatness, strength, and pride. He just wants black people to feel proud of their history and to remember how deep and powerful their story is. In short, this poem connects the past and present of the black people. Second, it reminds us that black history is not just about pain and slavery, but also about strength, culture, and greatness. Third, he just wants us, the black people, to feel proud of their roots and to remember their deep, powerful story. Our next poem is The Snowman. Okay. The poem The Snowman is written by Wallace Stevens, a modern American poet. It was first published in the year 1921 in a magazine called Poetry. Later, it was also included in his book Harmonium. Wallace Stevens was famous for writing about nature, the mind, and imagination. In this poem, Stevens talks about how we look at the world around us, especially nature in winter. He said that to truly see things that they are, we must stop adding our own emotion like sadness, happiness, or pain to them. He gave the example of a snowman who has no feeling. He just stands in the snow and see everything as it is, without any personal thought. The poem teaches us to become calm, still, and quiet, just like nature in winter, so that we can see the truth. Theme of the poem is a mind of winter, no feeling in nature, reality without imagination, Truth in emptiness, accept nature as it is. Line by line explanation. Uh, Let me tell you the overall summary of this. You can read the line by line explanation by your own. I don't want to repeat it again and again because if I say then the video will be long, okay? So the poem The Snowman by Wallace Stevens talk about how we should see and understand nature, especially winter, with a clear and calm mind. The poets say that if we want to understand winter truly, we must have a mind of winter, which means a quiet, peaceful, and emotionless mind. We should not look at the snow, wind, and bare trees and add our own feeling to them. Many times, people feel that the wind is sad, the tree look lonely, or the cold feel painful. But these are just human emotion, not the truth of nature. The poet described the winter scene in detail: snow-covered pine tree, icy bushes, shining cold sunlight, dry leaf making sound, and the wind blowing across a bare and empty land. These things are just natural, important parts of winter, but many people think that the wind is crying or that the trees are suffering. Wallace Stevens say this is wrong. Nature is not happy or sad, it just exists. Only when we stop using our imagination or emotion, we can see the true face of nature. In the end, the poet talk about a person who is standing quietly in the snow. That person is very calm and has become like nothing in sight. Without thoughts or feeling, this person is like a snowman, cold, still, and empty. Because of this peaceful state of mind, he can see things clearly. He see only what is really there in nature, nothing more. He does imagine feeling, and he even accept the emptiness of nature. This is the deep truth. Sometimes nature is just silent and empty, and this is also a kind of beauty. So the main message of the poem is, if we want to understand the true reality of the world, we must remove our personal thought and emotion and just observe the thing as they are. The poem tells us to be like the snowman, quiet, strong, and accepting, so we can see the world without adding our own meaning. Here's the part 2 done. I hope you all like this video and content. If you like this, then please don't forget to share and subscribe to all other students. And I have provided the link in the description for the PDF. You can check it out and it is free of cost. Till then, take care and all the best for your exam. Har Har Mahadev.